Okay, unfortunately, only one friend of mine had his deck list available for now, so I have to think about the decks if we come to them. So um, a little bit about the content I provide now. This is the Austrian Legacy League, and the FNM, the Friday Night Magic events, are now streamed live on Twitch. Unfortunately, without any how do I say it? Without any coverage. So we only have the stream. I try to do a regular stream with the pre-captured stream that I can commentate on. This is the first version. This is season 6, day 1. Before the season, the Austrian Legacy League was called the Linz Legacy League because the league is happening in Linz. It is a city in Austria, and yeah. So we have regularly every Friday our FNM Legacy event with from I would say we have regular about 15 to 16 players attending the events. We will be playing 4 rounds every Friday, and yeah, I will commentate on them and will be casting the events. Yeah, this is pretty much all you need to know about the Linz Legacy Liga. So I will try to do a regular casting that we have some coverage to provide. And yeah, about me, I'm Peter Plank. I've streamed on this account pretty often, and if you want to know more about what I play and if I'm playing on these events, you can join in on my podcast. This podcast is together with Philip Klein and Daniel Pernosch, and is called the In Response, a Legacy podcast. But for now, we will start with the first game. This stream is in 2 parts because there was an audio issue, I was informed. So at first we have to look into the game 1 from Friday. So I try to find the timestamp where the game started. But it seems that, yeah. Okay. This means it's the second round, so maybe there was a problem there, or they did just the numbers wrong. Okay, so let's start. Okay, yeah, I see the sound issues now. So yeah, there's some shuffling action. We can move forward. This is Manuel Hochecker. He is very famous in our community to not allow Delvas to flip. And on the second side we have Fabian Schweighofer, who is pretty much exclusively playing Miracles nowadays. He played some Yoran piles, but nowadays he is back to and blue-white Miracle Shell, which is playing Mentors in the main deck with some baubles. The names are on the wrong side. This is Fabian Schweighofer and this is Manuel Hochecker. I have to turn on my stream on the second page because my Streamlabs is not working. It doesn't connect to the chat. So if anyone wrote something, I was not able to see it. So now we have drawn the opening hands. For you see on the left side the miracle shell with a predict, force of will, 2 predicts, force of will, and a terminus, but is shuffled, 2 preordain, 1 brainstorm, 1 force of will, 1, I think it's a dreadhot arcanist, a volcanic island, and a fetch land in the hands of Manuel Hochecker. It's an okay hand, definitely in this matchup. So you're telling me that my voice is should be louder. I corrected my voice now. Hopefully it's loud enough. Okay, it's better now. That's good. That's good. Okay, so there is 1 mulligan on the side of Fabian. I will speed up the shuffling process a little bit. Okay, let's see if he can keep his 6 card hand. There is the Mentor, 2 Force of Wills, Teferi, Terminus. Okay, it's a quick keep. Yeah, starting with a cantrip on the side of Manuel. Snow-covered island, go. Oh, and it was another Delver. So I think on this side you just slam 2 Delver of Secrets on the side of Manuel and hope that they are getting in, which is really good. If I remember correctly, he has a Brainstorm in his hand too, so he can do Brainstorm to flip a Delver on his next turn, to flip both his Delvers. Okay. Force Pitch, I don't see the card on the side of Fabian, but must be a cantrip or his Teferi. Okay, now we have a Force Pitch to Brainstorm, okay. I think I would slam the second Delver in the spot. I mean, you're not guaranteed to let your Delver flip, but I mean, your clock would be a little bit faster. Okay. Then you have your Arcanist set up. Okay. The relic is good in a spot, but it does not provide anything. Okay. You trade your your 1-off relic for an activation from your Arcanist. Now Fabian is simply hoping for a Miracle Terminus. He needs way too much for the next few turns to go right. There you slam the second Delver, and now you have a 2-turn clock, which seems great. I mean, about the force on turn 1, I'm not sure if I agree with Manuel here. Maybe you let the first Delver get forced because you had another one in hand that you let this one resolve, which would be, I think, a play you can make too. Okay, now you have, I think these are 2 Terminus in hand. Okay. Okay. Okay, he has a brazen boar in hand too. Here you are just waiting for a few bolts. Faber will be at 7. And now you're dead to a single bolt. Okay. Try to ponder. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, no terminus, so it's the lose. Okay, he has a Palace Jailer in the sideboards, a few red elemental blasts. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the side of Manuel's sideboard. Hopefully he will show it to me. Yeah. 3 Pyroblasts, then assets. Okay. I think you just remove 2 days, 2 and 3 forces or something like that. I think would be okay, because you're on the draw. A mix between dazes and forces. I think this was another daze. Yeah, the Vapor Snake is 2 days, 2 forces, and the Vapor Snake I think would be good. Sideboarded game now for Manuel. Okay. We will let our player shuffle now. Okay. So let's see what they're keeping. So this game will be started by Fabian, but it seems like a landlight or a handful of lands. So it was a quick mulligan, another mulligan on the side of Manuel. So we're back to some shuffling action. Let's see what the other hand is. Okay. So we have a mentor, a relic. Is it 1 land? I think so. Must be 1 land and an astrolabe. Okay, I think this is an asset bottomed. Okay. Okay, I'm interested what the hand was from Fabian. I'm not able to see all his cards. Maybe I have to talk to the guys that when they are playing on stream that they're showing the starting hands better. It would be really nice to have all the informations possible. think he has 2 lands in hand, so he wants to draw the Narset, I think. Okay, he exiles 1 card from the graveyard. Okay, it was a really greedy keep from Fabian. I think it is, but it's not the... I mean, if the land is an island, maybe you keep it, but if the land is in plains, you are pretty much gonna be screwed over. Okay, he's playing the Arcanist. I think he has the swords. Does he have the days? Okay, it gets exiled. I think Manuel has... Does he have the Pyromancer? Yeah. Now you play the Pyromancer and just protect it. Because the Arcanist is not great in a spot, because the Relic is out. Okay. Just desperate to finding. Okay. A pretty greedy keep from Fabian, which was really punished. So yeah, I see if we get some games from if we are getting in some games from the other guys. And thanks Rytron for the follow. Okay, we're back to sorting cards. Okay, it was 2 Narsets and 3 Pyroblast, as I said before. So we are waiting for the next round. And I think the next round is starting on the next stream. Okay, yeah, seems like we have to start with this one. We're soon starting with game number 2. Yeah, this is now a mirror match between Christoph Igelsböck and Paul Bernsteiner. I think they are now on the right sides, the names, and they're even wearing the same clothes, so a mirror match indeed. Okay, so I'm just looking up deck lists because I'm not really sure what's the deck looking like, because I haven't played against it. So this is black, white Eldrazi. Okay. If anyone in the chat knows the deck list, please mail it, send it in the chat. Okay, this is something other. White, red, white, black. Okay. Black, white, Eldrazi. Okay. Maybe we have the information at our website. Okay. Okay. Then with Bernsteiner Paul. Okay, unfortunately we have no deck lists available, but seems like Eldrazi with Eliminate and Swords or something like that. Okay, we have a deck list now. I will pull it up for you guys. Should be similar to this. It's Eldrazi Stompy. Okay, that's the reason I didn't found it. Endless One, Eldrazi Mimic, Eldrazi Displacer, Matter Reshaper, Plague Engineer, Fortnite Seer, Reality Smash, Eliminates, Chalices, Lotus Petals to power out your 3 drops and 4 drops on turn 2. You have Eye of Ugin, Eldrazi Temple, Caverns, Ancient Tombs, Wastelands, Urborg, Caracas. Okay. My Misery. Okay, the old remove your enchantment. It will be interesting is if this deck is playing the new removal spell in the future. I think it's just Capture the Swarm or something like that, which lets you target an enchantment or a creature and you're losing life in amount of the converted mana cost of the permanent. So Spyglass, Fawn of Amethyst, Oblivion Orb, another 2 Black Engineers. So you're pretty much shitting on, I would say, Elves, and 4 Leyline of the Void to have something against the graveyard decks. Because you're playing Chalice, you can't play another 2. Okay, so we have turn 1 of Ugin with 2/2 Endless Ones, which is a pretty strong start from Christoph. But it will be interesting if the 2 Endless Ones are overpowered in the near future. Paul can start now with the Wasteland in his hand and has to decide which land he plays, because in an ideal world you would start now, or you would like to play something with 3 toughness. It would be an Displacer or Thought-Knot Seer or the Plague Engineer, but you need to have the Lotus Petal for them. But he goes with the Wasteland and is hoping that then the hand from Christoph Igelsberg is not holding many lands. Okay, now he has an Ancient Tomb. I think this is the Ancient Tomb pass, and try to follow up next turn with an Fortnite Seer, which he is holding in his hand. Okay, the only thing that makes you a black source in this deck is... oh, you have the Caves of Koilos and the 2 Urborgs. Okay, now Paul is back at 10, he's playing the Fortnite Seer. Okay. And that's interesting. If it's the Plague Engineer, I mean, you're not near of the... okay, he's getting rid of the Fortnite Seer. The Cavern is definitely... I mean, it's interesting on what the Cavern is, because it could be that the Cavern is on... what's the card type from Plague Engineer? I think it's Plague. And yeah, if that would be, you would be able to trade easily with your Eldrazi, because yours are bigger. Okay, now you're playing a 1-mana Matter Reshaper. you got the double jump on the Fortnite Seer, drawing an additional card. Okay. Got no lands on the side of Christoph. But now you're in a very interesting spot. Because you know that the hand of Christoph is really good. So you need to overcome it. But the Lotus Petal is not really the right card you want to have in that spot, because it's -1 card and only up 1 mana, but you have mana quite in an overflow. So yeah. All lands in the hand of Paul. Yeah, it's quite a difficult spot. Does the eye work for both players? Because I'm not sure. No. I mean, he didn't play something else this turn, but he needed to tap the Ancient Tomb too. Okay, now you get in with your Reality Smasher. The question is, yeah, now you play simply. I mean, it's not simply. I think you play the Meta Reshaper. Or you play another Fortnite Seer. Depends. I think with the Reshaper you just get it down with the Cavern and the Eldrazi Temple. Then it should be fine. Oh. Okay. He does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So it's just short a little bit mana of activating. Okay, now you get a double block. Are allowed to draw another card. Okay. Now you're in an interesting spot. I mean, soon you are allowed to spin the wheel or get to draw extra cards with the Eye of Ugin. But it will cost you 4 life, and we will see if it's worth. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 5. I mean, you have to make it bigger than the Fortnite Seer. We've counted in that your opponent is having the Plague Engineer out. I think you make it a 6/6 in the spot. Okay, he makes it an 8/8. Okay, should be an 8/8. Now it's interesting, because if you're making it an 8/8, maybe you should make it. Yeah, 8/8 is definitely. I'm just blundering there. I thought Christopher's at 10, but he's at 8. So now I think you're playing Plague Engineer and another Meta Reshaper. I think you have the mana for it. Am I right? Okay, yeah, you eliminate maybe both cards, or okay. The Mimic is interesting now. This makes it hard. Okay. Let's see what the final card for Paul is. A Plague Engineer. An Eldrazi. Now you're getting in for 2. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much game over. Man, you play this on Eldrazi, get rid of the single threat your opponent has. I think now you... I mean, this spot is pretty much won by Christoph. It's insane how unlucky Paul is with his draws. I mean, next turn he would get an activation of Eye of Ugin. I think at this spot, what are you gonna do? Swing in with both? I mean, at least you're threatening lethal. But I think you now... Okay. Yeah. Okay, he's casting it for another mana. Now he's passing the turn. Now you just play 2 Matter Reshapers. Or are you playing 1? That's the question now. I think you play 2. I think it would be okay. Okay. 3, 4. I mean, if he doesn't top deck anything this turn, Paul would be able to... Okay. To spin the wheel end of turn on the Eye of Ugin. Okay, this is an Eldrazi displacer. Now you just play Matter Shaper. And you're going to win. Because now you have a big Eldrazi, you have more value. I mean, now you are cracking the Eye of Ugin for your creature of choice. The question is if you now go for a big endless one, or if you're going to play some value. Yeah. And by value I mean winning the game. So now you're... Is this not the sack ability? Whew. Okay. Now this will be interesting. You're playing your Reality Shaper for 3. Fraglass2312, thank you for the follow. We're currently in game 1 of the round 2 of the FNM All Legacy paper event from this Friday, and we have a pretty interesting match board state in the match between Christoph and Paul. One good thing is, if you're attacking with all... I mean, this is a... Because Matter Reshaper and Plague Engineer are lethal, and the Reality Smash is lethal. You have to block the Reality Smasher with at least 2 creatures to kill it, or with the Plague Engineer. And Paul is also threatening with a card from his hand. There's a Jealous and a Matter Reshape in the hand of Christoph. So at least, I mean, the next thing is that Eldrazi displaces active on the next turn, which would be pretty devastating for Paul. So he needs to kill the displacer, and he has to do it by threatening lethal. Because if you block the Reality Smasher with only 1 creature, any of the other 2 is lethal now. If this block is happening, everything would die in that spot. The problem is that... Okay. I mean, Christoph has to block everything. That's his problem now. And yeah, I think this would be the best block for Christoph's side and for Paul's. I mean, for Paul, a no block would be the best because it would win him the game. But yeah. we will have to wait what Christoph is waiting for. Sure, I'm reading the chat, Franz. But you're a kleiner Hoden too. Okay. 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 This means another Matter Reshaper. And yeah. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. He was one short of activating the Eye of Ugin, unfortunately. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7 to spin with the eye. Now is the question if he has another Matter Shape, I think. Because he has enough excess mana. And then attack with the Reality Smasher. Okay, okay. So game 1 goes to Paul. And yeah, it was really, really good played. I think from both sides. I thought that it was in the hand of Christoph, but yeah, well played to Paul, well played. So we will skip the shuffling. See some sideboarding from Paul. He's bringing in the playset Oblivion Ring and nothing else. I think there should be 4 Oblivion Rings. Yeah. And he should be getting rid of, I think, Chalices. Yeah. I think the deck is playing 4 Chalice of the Void. Yeah. I think the sideboarding should be pretty much the same for Christoph. The deck list I'm having here, provided from Infected, has only 2 Oblivion Rings in the sideboard. But I think the Oblivion Ring is doing nearly the same as Mire of Misery. So I see the point in playing 4 of these. But the next thing is that you are having less access to white mana in the deck than to black, because I mean the list I have has 4 Caves of Koilos and 1 Caracas. I mean, if you count the Lotus Petals, you have another 3. You have 8 sources of white mana in your deck, and with Urborg you're having the 2 Urborgs, you're having the 4 Caves of Koilos and the Lotus Petals, so you have a little bit more. But yeah, the question is if Plague Engineer, I mean, the problem for Plague Engineer is that the creatures are getting too big for him to jump, and he doesn't kill creatures with the -1/-1 clause. The only thing he kills is the Eldrazi Mimic. So you see the point in not siding them in and decreasing the amount for them. And Paul is playing 2 Caracas. He has a hand of 2 Caracas. he has 2 Caracas, 1 Cavern of Soul, 1 Eldrazi Temple, Lotus Petal, and I think an Endless One and a Reality Smasher. On this side we have Urborg, Cavern of Souls, Eliminate, should be an Ancient Tomb, I think another land and a creature. I think this hand, I mean, you have already 5 sources of mana in your opening hand, which is not good, and one of them is even legendary. Yeah, and he got instantly punished with another Lotus Petal. The question is, if you go here for Lotus Petal and play an Endless One for 3, the problem is that a 3/3 Endless One is, yeah, I would say not that great. The problem you have is that too many of the Eldrazi have 3 power. I mean, on the other hand, you have only lands and 2 removal spell opening hand from Christoph. Unfortunately, no wasteland on either side. The wasteland would be huge now, because then Christoph would be unable to play a single eliminate and would be dead to his draws. Okay, now he would have had the black source, but yeah, you just are going to eliminate or eliminate on the next turn, which would be the better play, because you now are able to eliminate the Reality Smasher if he wants. I think you have enough excess lands to get rid of it. Okay, you're taking the 5. Does Reality Smasher say abilities too, or only spells? Only spells, okay. Okay. So now you're just going to bounce the Reality Smasher every turn. Okay. So you got punished. So now in this spot you need to bounce the Smasher every turn and have to jump the Fortnite Sea, I think, this turn. So Paul is in a really great spot now. I mean, you can't get in with the Reality Smasher, but why is he not attacking with... Would you not like to trade? I think at this spot you would have just attacked with the Fortnite Seer. Because if he's jumping with both his creatures, I mean, he would get a card, but you have a much better board state. I mean, in this spot you now attack with Fortnite Seer, Reality Smasher and Eldrazi Mimic. And if he's bouncing the... Wait. You just attack with Reality Smasher, Fortnite Seer and the Mimic. And if he is blinking the reality smasher, you have a 5/5 Eldrazi Mimic, which needs to be jumped. Or is it dead on the backswing? That's the problem. I'm not seeing the life counter from Paul's side. I mean, I think you would just attack. I think Paul punted this game away. Yeah, another 2 life. Okay, no, he doesn't have to pay the life because of the Warburg. Now you just blink 1 reality smasher. I think Paul punted this game away. Because with an active displacer and that amount of blockers, seems pretty good. Because you're now trading in your reality smasher with the Fortnite Seer, and not getting any value out of it. And yeah, you now blink the unblocked reality smasher. And these blocks are happening. So you take 2, draw 1 card, and now have the Swords to Plowshares. I mean, the question is if you... I mean, you can attack for 5. And if he is playing something big, you can sword it, or you're just gonna blink his attacking stuff, which would be great too. I think you're not... The only thing I can imagine that he is casting this turn, I mean, there are 2. I think the Fortnite and the Reality Smasher would be interesting. But because I do not know the life total from Paul, it's not clear for me. I mean, I think that Paul could be pretty close to lethal if he is attacking for 13 with a Reality Smasher. But double blinking stuff should be good for him too. Okay. Another Eldrazi Displacer. Okay. Now he's attacking, blinking it. Okay, sure. Now you have another 2 cards in hand. We will see what he will be doing with it. Okay, he passed the turn, end of turn, sorting the Eldrazi Displacer. And if he really wants... I mean, he can... Does the Eldrazi Displacer other creature? Okay, exile another target creature. Sure. Okay, you're now able to activate it 3 times a turn. Is this the Reality Smasher? Okay, that's the reason, because He thought about it. Is 13 lethal? No. Okay. One, two, three. Okay. So he kills the Mimic. Would like to attack with the Displacer. With the Smasher, but it will be displaced. Now you blink the Engineer. Yeah. I think Paul punted the game away in the spot where he could attack with the second Fortnite Seer to force the double jump, and then he punted the game away a second time on the next turn where he could have attacked with Eldrazi Mimic, Eldrazi Reality Smasher, and Fortnite Seer, where Christoph needed to blink the Eldrazi the Reality Smasher with his Eldrazi Displacer, and in that turn the Eldrazi Mimic would have been a 5/5 because of this, and Christoph needed to jump that one for another to not be dead this turn. And then Paul would have had Reality Smasher and Eldrazi Mimic still on the battlefield. Christoph would have only had I think one Plague Engineer and one Matter Reshape on the next turn, and would then be dead the following turn. So yeah, let's see how game 3 goes. Okay, camera is focusing, so we have here, I think, one Eliminate, one Caves of Koilos, and a Cavern or Caves of Koilos. 2 other lands, an Ancient Tomb and a Reality Smasher, or an Endless one, an Eldrazi Displacer, a Cavern of Souls, an Endless one, an Urborg, another Eldrazi Displacer, Caves of Koilos and an Eliminate, and here we have Caves, Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, Endless one, and Eye of Ugin, and the Eldrazi Temple. So I think Christoph shuffled the hand away because he had too few lands. And Paul is keeping his 5-land hand. I mean, it's a wasteland matchup, so you need to keep more lands, but I think this hand from Paul is again pretty mana heavy. Yeah, I think game 2 should have been his, but unfortunately it was not. Okay, we now have no life total for both players, so we'll be doing this one for now. So we have 20. Okay, should be in Reality Smasher. So Paul is at 18 now. Okay. So it's trading with these and is taking 4 down to 14. So an attack for 5 down to 15. Wait, am I missing? Okay, he took 5 in this round. So he is down to 10. Okay, he's attacking again with the... This was the attack for 5 I had. Now I think Paul is pretty much with only lands in hand. Okay. Yeah. The question is if you are playing the Eldrazi Displacer or if you are just exiling the Reality Smasher. Which would be a play to you. I mean, if your Eldrazi opponent is doing nothing with 5 mana on board, you're pretty much just expecting only lands and or removal spells without the colored mana in play. So another attack for 4. He's holding the Swords to Plowshares open. I think he will be sorted now, so you take 1 down to 9. And we'll be discarding... I think you're discarding the Fortnite Seer in the spot, yeah. Because a Fortnite Seer would only give your opponent another card, and Paul is now at 15. Okay, he got the caves. So he has now, okay, he's paying 3 life, down to 12. And he's playing an O-ring on the Eldrazi Mimic. Okay, because the Mimic won't be any better. So you now attack for 2, down to 10. Play the Eldrazi Displacer. And then Paul said you're just hoping to draw something. Okay, it's insane. Okay. Yeah. Another answer. You're just attacking for 5, down to 5. And Paul is top decking. Another O-ring. So you're exiling the Eldrazi Displacer. You're paying 1 for it, so you're now at 4. Going down to 2. So maybe I missed something with the life totals there, but yeah, pretty much a flooded game from Paul, and yeah, a win for Christoph Igelsböck in round 2 of the Austrian Legacy League, event number 1 of the season 6. So, okay, so he sided in another 2 black engineers, so he is playing the full playset and the full playset of Swords to Plowshares. So maybe Christoph... Okay, so Christoph boarded out the Chalices and the Carakas because they do nothing, and Paul only boarded in the 4 Oblivion Rings and boarded out the full Chalices. So yeah, this was the round 2 of the event, and yeah, there we will start now with the round 3. There we have Markus Schmidhuber with Buck Delver and Dominic Haas with 4-color Loam. I will be back in 1 minute. Then we will resume the stream. I just get me some coffee. So I'm back, got me some cold brew coffee. So we can resume to our stream. So in round 4 we have 4-color Loam from Dominic Haas against Buck Delver from Markus Schmidhuber. Unfortunately we have no deck lists again for this tournament, but I think Dominic is infected 1604. Maybe he can provide me with the deck list from him so that we can look over it and see the sideboard plan. Okay, I think they removed now the smartphone from the stream, so we have to count again via editor, which is unfortunate, but we will. Okay, now we have the smartphone back, so it's good to go. Okay. So we have to wait for Schmidi to shuffle his deck. Okay, here we go. This should be really an interesting matchup because, I mean, both are pretty much Oko decks. Okay, this is a hand of Underground Sea, Abrupt Decay, Fatal Push, Wasteland, Brainstorm, Force of Will, and Gomog Angler. I think this is not something you're looking for in your opening hand. Or this, I mean, you're needing, I mean, Markus is on a play, so he needs to find another land, so he's maybe forced to Brainstorm on his first turn. And 4-color Loam is a deck which is running Chalice and Wastelands. So this keep is a little bit greedy on the side of Markus. Okay, what do we have here on this side? I mean, unfortunately the The sleeves are really shiny, so I'm not able to see the cards. Okay, snow-covered forest go is pretty much the good play. Okay. I mean, it paid off, but here you see why I would mulligan the hand, because you have now no blue cards in hand. I mean, you have one blue card in hand, and you have no tools to shuffle. So if you are gonna play the Delver next turn, which I would not, I mean, you have to Thoughtseize in the spot. But if you need to Force of Will something next turn, it's pretty bad. And you know that you don't know what he placed on top. I think he placed the Abrupt Decay on top of the deck, so you know that you are stuck on effectively one land at a time. Okay. So what are you gonna take? I think you have to take either the Sylvan Library or the how's it called? Or the Bob in that spot, because they are too good. Yeah, you have to take the library because it would draw you multiple cards. And now you just play. Ooh! That was hard. Yeah, Force Pitch Delver. So you're now in a spot where you know your next card. You do not have another mana source. And I mean you get now to Wasteland the Cabal Pit. But you're drawing the Abrupt Decay, you Wasteland the Cabal Pit, you play the next Wasteland, and I mean you have nothing to do. Another thing that he could have done would be, which would be wasting his own UC to play the Gourmet Angler. And I think in Dominic's spot, I would have fetched on the last turn for another basic. I mean, you are getting his Wasteland out, but Bagdelva is really bad at using generic mana cost. No. Now you are in an okay spot in Marcus's hands, because you're now able to play. You are now able to play your Gourmet Angler, because you just exile your whole graveyard and play the Gourmet Angler. I mean, your hand is still not good, but at least you have a good threat on the field. Now it's an interesting spot for Dominic. Okay, another. Okay, another Force of Will. So get in for 5, down to 13. Okay. Okay, Force Pitch. I think this was. I think in that spot you would have played it a turn earlier. I mean, you do not know the hands of your opponent, but I think you were worried about Days. But the problem with Days is that Days would have been the cards that would have been exiled to the Force of Will instead of the Delver. So I think this was a small but costly misplay from Dominic, if he wanted to get in the dredging earlier. I have not seen what his card was for the turn, but you will get wasted one turn, and if it's a permanent it will get, yeah. This will be Abrupt Decay at end of turn. He will be wasted this turn, and now he is pretty much dead because he has no removal spell that can deal with Gomu Gangler this turn. Because he will get hits down to 2, and then he needs to try to recover in a meaningful way. And I do not know the card from Marcus, but he has so many life draws. Okay, I mean, you would love to see a tropical island on the side, but the problem is that Abrupt Decay doesn't deal with the Gomu Gangler. I do not know how many Assassin's Trophies Dominic is playing. Maybe he can give me some info out of the chat. But yeah, I mean, what he could have done different. I mean, one misplay which was not punished was the keep from Marcus. I think the... Okay, is the Assassin's Trophy sideboard or main deck? I think you play one main. I think one misplay that was not punished was the keep from Marcus. Okay, he's boarding in 2... how are they called? The new fairies. I'm way too bad with card names. Okay, Dex Metagame, Legacy, Timo Delvo is playing them in the sideboard. No. Okay, it's Delvo's playing them. Brazen Borer. He's spotting in 2 Brazen Borers. And what are the other cards? Okay, 1 S main. Okay. Okay, you play the Bubo. Okay. I haven't looked at your sideboarding, Dominic. Maybe you can write it out in the chat. Would be great for me. And yeah, maybe for the next time, for Friday, I will ask if it's convenient for you guys to hold up your sideboarded cards. Okay, you board in the Tabernacle and 5 other cards I haven't seen. And Marcus is boarding out Dazes on the draw, yeah. 3 Dazes. Four Dazes on the draw, boarded out. Okay. Maybe showing me the cards. Okay. Seems like 2 Sylvan Libraries and 2 Brazen Borers. Okay, 1 Toxic Deluge, 2 Swords to Plowshares, 1 Tabernacle, and 2 Black Engineers boarded in for Dominic. And what are cards that he's boarding out? it would be known. Just looking at random deck lists, maybe they can tell me something. For color Loam, I think you don't. The question is if you even want the Kaya. Crimson Sin of Abrupt Decay is live from the Loam. Yeah, I'm way too. Okay, you bought out the 2 Bobs, 2 Libraries, 1 Crimson Zenith, and 1 Barrymore. Okay, yeah, you want to make the removal from in form of Abrupt Decay is weaker, and up your answers to his place. The Tabernacle is really good, but yeah, you need to board it in. But at least Marcus has some answers with his how are they called? With his Wastelands. Okay. There is now a die. I have to look a little bit about the keeps because I was a little bit distracted. So Dominic is telling me there is a big mistake in the game, so we will try to catch it. So we have 2 Force of Negation upon the Abrupt Decay. Is this a Sylvan Library? I think a Force of Will and a Wasteland. No, it's a fetch land. So yeah, should be a keep. So we have basic land to go again. I think in this spot you fetch for an Underground Sea and forces your opponent. And then we can see what Dominic's hand is. And then we can discuss if this would be a keep against Delver. Yeah, it's... Let's guess. Yeah. Should be clear forces. Yeah. Wasteland. Okay, so you have... The question is if you... I think you take the knight, yeah. I mean, at this spot you... Okay, you waste. That's good. You have drawn another knight. Okay, that's pretty big. And yeah. Do you have a fetch? I think not. So you're playing a chalice on 1. First pitch. Oko. Okay. Okay, this is... I mean, you're pretty far from resolving any meaningful spell. Okay. So... I mean, you have no land in hand. So, at least there was no misplay. Maybe write it in the chat if there was a misplay in a single particular turn. But as far how it goes, it's pretty much how I would play it out. I mean, on both sides. Okay, now you have your ponder. This must be a shuffle. Yeah, you need to draw your second land. Okay, both players didn't capture it. That's good. That's good. I mean, the next spell will be forced if Dominic is... Okay, now the abrupt decay. Okay, you get to play Bob. Yeah, will be pushed. Sure. Now you get down your knight, I think. Yeah, sure. Will be abrupt decayed. Sure. Another knight. That will be abrupt decayed in the next turn. Okay, yeah. The hand from Marcos lined up pretty well against yours. Okay. Now I can't. Ah. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Was this the fourth, or I think this was the fourth force of will against you. So he's gonna force you. Can you tell me what this card is? I do not know it. Is this a Swords to Plowshares? Is this the promo Swords? Yeah, 3 Knights of the Reliquary, 4 sources. Ah. Okay, you attack for 1. Okay. Delver and Brazen Borer. I mean, you play the Delver. Okay. This is a scrubland, am I right? So you now have the black mana to activate the Cabal Pit. Okay. Sure. I think in this spot there is an argument to attack first with the land, because you would be pretty happy to trade in your Dried Arbor with the Delver, but it would not be able. to do that. And here we have the misplay, because Brazen Boras says target non-land permanent and opponent controls, and he bounced the Dried Arbor. I think this is the misplay you said will be happen, and I think we can continue in that spot. I think, and then we have the second misplay, because Dominic is playing the Dried Arbor out again, and he wasted his opponent this turn. So, I mean, it's okay, because Marcus wouldn't be able to bounce your Dried Arbor. So misplay and misplay cancel each other out. You just got no attack in with the Dried Arbor, and think that's all. Okay, this was not the misplay. What the fuck? What are you doing, guys? Okay. Okay, this was a pretty hard misplay turn, the last one, but we will see what the next one is. Okay, you now have now has the fetch land in hand. Put it out. Then pass the turn. Okay, yeah, another attack for 1. Then you play out your Tarmogoyf on the next turn. Okay. So you have a Tarmogoyf. Okay, this one was correct too. But I mean, you now have the green Sun Zenith. And which card are you getting here? A Leovold? I think so. I think you get the Leovold here. Because the Leovold and Dried Arbor are 2-turn clock combined. You have still 2 cards in hand. So it seems pretty good. And for information, even though the overlay isn't showing it, Marcus is 1 game up because he won game 1. Another Chalice of the Void X1, and now you attack for 4. He's playing. Yeah, I think this was the one that I was waiting for. Yeah, sure. And another pause in that spot, because Brazen Borer can't block non-flying creatures. It can only block flying creatures. So we have to talk to Shmidi. He has to read the cards Brazen Borer again, because this was an horrendous example of showing the card. It was a little bit too much on the misplay side. I make you up the card. Now we have it here. It says here, Petty Theft, return target non-land permanent and an opponent controls to its owner's hand. And Flash Flying, Brazen Borer can block only creatures with flying. So yeah, would have been something that would have been enforced on a tournament level. But this is casual FNM level, so this was not enforced. So I would be pretty... It would be pretty much unfortunately if Dominic is losing this game. Okay, now the scavenging ooze. I think I would at least cast a Gurmag Angler and excite both my creatures with the casting cost. Or if Dominic was doing that in his draw step. But yeah, this was... So yeah, so he was doing this in the draw step, and this now does now have Gurmag Angler on the battlefield. In this spot you just simply have enough mana to make your because you have 1, 2, 3 mana. Another misplay now from Dominic on his side because he has 1, 2, 3 green mana. He can exile Leovold, Bob, or does he have only... No, he can exile Leovold, Bob and a Knight with 1, 2, 3 green mana. With that his... how's it called? His ooze would be a 7/7, which would have been lethal. If we would have attacked with it, Marcus would need to jump block the ooze, and now you have a clean board again to attack on the next turn. So another oopsie on the side of Dominic. But I mean, it isn't always the clear when you're in the game, but yeah, this match was pretty interesting. Why? Dominic, what are you doing? Am I missing something? You're... But what would have the Snap Custom Mage done? The Snap Custom Mage would come in for an Abrupt Decay. You didn't want to, but you can threaten it because you can at least force the jump on him. Okay, you haven't seen the 7, so okay. But yeah, this even though he would have the Snap Custom Mage, it would be okay because you can pump him twice. Now he's a 6/6. He has to jump with the Gurmag Angler. And if he jumps with a Gurmag Angler and the Snap Custom Mage, you can eat with the remaining 1 green mana can you eat the target, the abrupt decay from him in the graveyard? So yeah, this one is on your side. I'm allowed to say now, but yeah. But yeah, I'm now here and I see both players' hands, and this is the shame conceit on Marcus' side. But yeah, at least you won the game, but it would have been a little bit easier for you. And yeah, this was wrong on so many levels from Marcus. If someone is would be calling a judge on this side, it would have been at least 2 warnings on the side of Marcus. Because it was 2 illegal plays. Okay, what is? I mean, you want the. I'm not sure if you want the Leovold. I think on the side of Marcus, I would agree with playing the playset Daces now over 2 Force of Wills or 3 Force of Wills and another reactive card. I mean, one thing is that you can't get rid of the abrupt decays from the side of Dominic, but yeah, I think you want the Daces in the spot, and for sure. I mean, the Bubo is not great in the spot. How is it called in English? Okay. The collector oof. Because a oof is a boo-boo in German. In this game it was not that great. So yeah, we will see how this game 3 ends. We have now a standing of 1-1 in this match. I think we are pretty near of time, so maybe this is even a draw for both players. So yeah, if anyone in the stream is interested in following me on social media, I will drop in the link now. You will get informed when I start streaming, when something goes online, like the In Response, a Legacy podcast, a podcast produced from myself, Philip Klein, the founder of the Austrian Legacy League, or earlier called Linz Legacy League, and the owner of greatness@anycost.com, Daniel Pernusch. We have a regular podcast which drops out every 3rd Friday. We are covering from legacy to our lives a lot of things, and if something big in the legacy community or in the Magic community is happening, it's likely to be covered too. The next episode, which will drop out on the 18th of September, which will cover our season's end tournament, where I got eliminated in the quarterfinals with 4-color painter, and Philip went second with Bak Hogak. We will cover some stuff from the tournament there. So now our two players have shuffled their deck, and Dominic and Marcus are deciding whether to keep or not to keep their 7-card opening hands. Okay, on the side of Marcus we have a fetch land, a drop, a UC, a Delva, a Brainstorm. I do not know what the third card is, whether or not this is a Thoughtseize, and I think this is another fetch land or an Abrupt Decay. Okay, it's we have one mulligan all ready to go, so this is a 6-card opening hand. Okay, we go Lance Delva, as it should be. And yeah, it isn't Thoughtseize. Okay, Lance go. Is this a Tamagorth? Okay, or a Leovold. I do not see it exactly. An attack for 1. Okay, it was a Bitter Blossom, so that's pretty great. You now get to exile the Delva, which is great. But the Bitter Blossom will be pretty hard to deal with for Marcus. I do not know. I mean, at least you have the Abrupt Decays in the deck. Let's see if he has something. Yeah, okay, he has the Abrupt Decay, yeah. I haven't thought of the decays, but these are good cards in this matchup. Because the only thing that Abrupt Decay is unable to deal with is Gormagangler. Okay, Tamagorth Delva. Okay. Okay, we have a 4/4/5 Tamagorth. And Oko coming in and elking the opposing Goif. Yeah. Insane. I mean, the cards are not good, but the question now is, I mean, it's pretty much irrelevant how you stack up the cards, as long as the Abrupt Decay is the card on top of your library. The question now is if you want to pressure the life total more, or if you just kill the Oko with it. Yeah. Marcus decides on killing the Oko with it. I mean, one thing that would be good now for Dominic is hitting his one of Toxic Deluge. Okay. Dominic is still on a 3-turn clock. Is this another Oko? Yeah. Cool. Generating a food. You're going for a ponder. Sure. The spot is interesting now. I think the wasteland would be pretty valuable in a spot. Yeah. Marcus agrees on Underwood ways to drop. Sure. Now you kill the Oko. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if he has another drop. Yeah. I think this is a scrub land and no Savannah. You're now elking the food. And he's drawing the push, I think. Okay, no. But he will be drawing a push from this one. Yeah. I think you just get in the push. Get rid of the Oko. Or I think you just push the food token and ignore the Oko completely. In this spot I disagree with Marcus, because you have no permanence in play. The best thing you can do is playing in Mox and trading it for a Delva. Yeah. Now you attack with both. You're trading 1 for 1. You're going down to 8. Marcus is playing a Tarmogoyf, which is an Planeswalker creature land instant. Should be a 4 or 5. Yeah. And I think you just exile the instant. And nothing more. Or maybe you The question is whether or not you are able to exile specific cards. Getting rid of his Goyf. Okay, so this is a scrubland. Okay, yeah. It's pretty much an insane draw from Marcus. For his last effort, Dominic complained about not getting a single mox in a starting hand. But yeah, pretty much unlucky on his side. So this was the third round of the All Austrian Legacy League Day 1 Season 6 event, and we are now moving up to game number 5 and round 5. So yeah. Okay, now for our last round, we have Dominic Hintenhaus with Dragon Stompy and Christian Münster with Bant Foodchain. Christian sent me his list. So this is the list from Christian, which he is playing on the right side. We have for the lands, for Floodstrand, One Horizon, Canopy, One Caracas, for Misty's, a Prismatic Wiz, the Savannah, 6 no cover basics, a drop, a Tundra. Then we have 4 Foodchain, for Brainstorm, for Force of Will, and 3 Swords to Plowshares, 3 Manipulate Fate, which get rid of Mist Hologriffin and Eternal Scourge. Then we have 3 Ponder, 2 Oko, 1 Eternal Scourge, 4 Icewing Quartles, 3 Mist Hologriffin, as I said, 3 Noble Hierarchs, 3 Ranger Captain of Eos. Okay, the Ranger Captain of Eos is getting the Walking Ballista for winning the game, and 1 Uro. Then we have 1 Back to Basics, 2 Carpet of Flowers, 2 Deafening Silence to combat Storm decks, 1 Force of Negation, 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Rest in Peace, 1 Surgical, the 4 of Swords to Plowshares, a Sylvan Library, and 3 Whale of Summer. Okay, so for sideboarding I will get out the deck list again, but for now we are just looking for Christian Münster to prevent Dominic from getting in a Blood Moon early on, and then he should be good. Okay, at 10 from Dominic, so I think he will be starting the game, and there we are seeing if they can keep their 7 card opening hand. Okay, this is good. You have Ancient Tomb, Jealous of the Void, 1 Mountain, another City of Traitor, and 2 3 mana Goblin Makers. So the hand from Dominic should be great. Okay, unfortunately Kristen is not able to keep his opening hand. So yeah, we will have to see. Okay, 7 cards. Seems like an okayish hand from Christian's side. I think you get rid of the Ranger Captain of Eos or something like that, or an additional land. And yeah, Ancient Tomb, Chalice, and yeah, have fun, Christian. Have fun. Okay, here's land and the Horizon Canopy. Then go. Okay, the hand is great. From the question is whether or not you play the Trinosphere here in the spot. Yeah. Yeah. You now play the Goblin. How is it called? Yeah. Read the card because you can't force of will the creature now. And yeah, Christian is drawing another land, playing the land. I think Foodchain costs 4 mana, if I remember correctly. No, it only costs 3. So yeah, I think you just play the Foodchain this turn. And hope to draw the Mist Hologriffin next turn. And you are able to win, I think. Okay, no, he's playing the Ranger Captain of Eos. Okay, he's getting... Okay. Unfortunately, we have a life total error now on the bottom side, because Christian should be at 18. I think now that you just jump here, take 3 down to 15. Okay, the 2 fetches, yeah. Yeah. Now this will be interesting. Okay, so he's taking... Another 3. Yeah, I think you just play Blood Moon here in the spot and pass the turn. You have him on a 2-turn clock, but Münster has enough basics for it. I think he should just play the Foodchain. The problem is he does not have the Mist Hologriffin for now. Or does he have the Manipulate Fate? I think so. Okay, another Walking Ballista. Okay, the hand from Dominic is pretty much empty. It's just another 2. Another two, how are they called? 3 balls, Trinispheres. Now Christian tries to race with the Walking Ballista. Yeah. Okay, he takes 1. And yeah, now the spot is pretty good for him. Ah, Christian has no he has the forest. But this hand is that bad. The question now is whether or not he attacks with the ballista, but I think you do. Down to 7. Now pass the turn. Yeah. Another Blood Moon. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much well played from Christian. Now you I think you take a mountain because you do not need the blue mana. Now you manipulate fate. Exile 2 Mist Hollow Griffin and an Eternal Scourge. And now you can even combo the next turn. And here is the misplay from the side of both players, because Christian would need to tap 3 mana for the Manipulate Fate. Genio 557 even pointed it out in the chat. Okay, attack for 1 and hopefully pass the turn. No, unfortunately the misplay goes through. Third Trinisphere. And yeah, but this was not the biggest judge call we would have on this FNM. Yeah. And yeah, now Christian has infinite mana, infinitely makes his Walking Ballista big, and then wins the game. Ah! No, he can't make his Ballista infinitely big because he's only allowed to use Foodchain for other creature spells. So yeah, restart the timer, and Christian and Dominic can play the second game. Yeah, but overall I would say the games for today are pretty interesting. Okay, now we can have a look at the sideboarding from the side of Christian. Okay. Okay, should be Force of Negation, I think. Sylvan Libraries. So should be Force of Vigor, Force of Negation, and the Sylvan Library. I think so. Okay, he's sporting out. What was the first card? It was a white one. I think you do not want every sorts the plowshares in the spot. I think you want some amount of swords. But yeah. Question is whether or not you want the big Chandra. I don't think so. I think you want the braid for the early game removal for the acceleration. But yeah. You can't really have anything to board in on the side of Dominic on Dragon Stompy. You just shave one slot, and yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay. On the viewers, is the stream pretty clear, or am I having some slight internet troubles? Because I had a pretty long loading time on the stream. Okay. Okay, a Force of Will now would be good. Force Pitch Manipulate Fate, sure. Okay, seems a great opening for Christian, I have to say. Now you fetch for an island and play a Ponder, and now you should be in a really, really good spot. The question is on the spot for Dominic would be if a turn 1 Goblin would have been better or not. Because I think the turn 1 Goblin is really, really good. Yeah. Now, yeah. Now you got a Goblin. The question is if he will be forced or not, but he will. Now you go Ponder. Okay. Triple Force on top. Not the cards you like because you want to advance the game plan in the spot. You want to hit some other sources of mana. Yeah, now you have the Foodchain. The problem now for you play the Chalice on 1 and then you play the the Magus of the Moon. Yeah. Okay. I get in for 2. Okay, yeah. This game should be won now by Dominic, because I do not know any combination of draws. That Christian can have. Yeah, I mean, at least you can cast a Mist Hollow Griffin in a few turns. Wait, what the fuck did happen? I'm sorry, viewers. we will make a best of misplays in this episode. We have Brazen Borer bouncing a land and playing and blocking a Leovold into. I mean, casting Manipulate for 2 in face of a free ball is okay, but casting a Kanda Great Creator while you have 2 Magus of the Moon out on your side of the battlefield with your 2 soul lands is insane. Yeah. And nobody capturing it. It's... We need to have a judge on the table. I mean, I'm willing to make a... I'm willing to make a best of misplay episode for a YouTube channel or something like that, because this is just a clown fiesta. This is too hard. This is too hard to take. This is way too good. At least we're having fun. At least we're having fun. But yeah. For anyone watching now the stream, has anyone seen the new video from the professor about the reserved list is a lie? on this misplace is a death penalty. Nothing less. Unfortunately, we have to capture this. Unfortunately. Okay. So we will see what Christian can do now on the play, which is a way better spot for any blue deck with fetches against the Blood Moon deck. If I have to admit from the sides, the hand from Dominic does not look that good. So yeah, we will see how it goes. Okay, this is good spot now for Christian. Turn 3 and nothing from Dominic is good. Should be a brainstorm now. Yeah. Brainstorm. I think you want one less force of will. I think he got rid of one force of will. No, he still has 2. I think. Ensnaring bridge. Should be, yeah, it's resolved. Because Foodchain doesn't care about a bridge. Because it doesn't change anything from his side of the field. Christian will definitely force of will the Chandra. End of turn brainstorm, sure. Is this the Eternal Scourge? No, it's a Noble Hierarch. But they do not think that you want the card in a spot. Yeah. Will be put on top. Christian will peel the Prismatic Vista. Sure, because you don't want the Griffin in a spot. I think you pass now. I think there could be made a point in playing the Noble Hierarch, the Foodchain. As a Noble Hierarch on top, so you don't want that one. Now you get your 3rd basic, so a Blood Moon is doing nothing now. You can brainstorm now with a fresh top. And you still have the fetch available to you. Okay, another force. You don't want the 2 lands. The question is if you want 1. Okay. As Christian decides he does not want the 5th land, because he could go. No, because he doesn't have the, how is it called? The 1-drop now. The Noble Hierarch. Okay, you now have the Oko. And I think you just play him. Okay. Pawn the 1st. But Oko is a strong game plan. Okay. You get to draw an Uro, which could be better. Yeah. Uro into the land is the better card. Because you can now force with the Uro out. You can force the Oko. I think this card is irrelevant now. You do not care about it. This is the card you care about, I think. Or maybe even not, because you can just... Yeah, you can just play an Oko and Elk it. And a few turns late, yeah, you can even ponder and have still Oko up. I think this is pretty good. So yeah, ponder, shuffle. You're now in a good spot. Now you play Oko. You elk the goblin. Oko is at 5. Can't be killed. I mean, the question now I now have is does Christian crack the fetch? Because he's forgetting about Blood Moon. But with the amount of misplays we've seen this this single FNM, it could be. And this should be simply force pitch force, because the pond is more valuable. Yeah. Okay, the elk cannot attack this turn because of the ensnaring bridge. The elk is not able to attack. And I still do not know why the Misthollow Griffin, why he, I mean, it doesn't matter, but he could have threatened a spell or something like that, like, do not know. Okay. Okay, another ensnaring bridge. Or whatever. I think it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, second ensnaring bridge. I mean, at least you can't elk it away. You need a few turns for it. You can now just play Foodchain. Okay. Fortunately, I do not understand what Christian is calling for the judge. Ah, okay. He was calling about the Uro. Okay, so that he can cast the Uro. Okay. Because escaping is not enough. Yeah, thank you, Dominic. Because escaping Uro is not an activated ability. It's how is it called? It's an alternative casting cost, so that I can get it out of my mouth. So yeah, you just trying to manipulate fate, which means he can draw one card. He's now casting all creatures again and again, has infinite mana, can draw another card, can play the noble. Now he should elk one bridge, then passes the turn. Dominic should empty his hand and then pretty much die to the next two swings from Christian. So that means Christian wins the last round for the tournament. He played Bant Foodchain with this list. I can put the list now into the chat on the stream. Then I can show you something, because if we go on this side, this is for our league. If you go at Austrian-legacy.com, you get forwarded to this site, because the transformation is not finished, and there you can go at the first round. This is this FNM event, and here you see how the players ranked. We had 22 players at this FNM, which is pretty good for us, and the two winners were Iglisberg Christoph, which we saw him in round 2. He was playing black-white Eldrazi, and Markus Schmidhofer, Schmidi, and he went also 3-0-1. They drew in the last round. He was playing Backdelver. Then we have the winner of the tournament of the whole league last year, Bant Jonas. He was on the 6th episode of the In Response podcast. I think I linked it in my panels. Yeah, you can look hear it up. We have, as I talked before, a new episode every 3 weeks. Then we have Münster Christian, who went 3-0-1 with Foodchain. Then we have Pernush Daniel, who was playing Tess, another co-host of the In Response podcast. Then we have Bernstein Paul, who we saw in round 2 with Eldrazi, Steinbauer Anton on Blue-Red Delva, Neutz Christian, he's called Chino in the chat, on Mono Blue Delva. We had lands, we had one of his Stompy with Dominic Hintenhaus, which we saw in the last round. Client Philip on Bak Hogak. He was the finalist of the tournament last week of the SET of the set. Langwiese Patrick on Slivers. Miracles Freihofer Fabian was seen in the first round. Hochek Emanuel on Blue Red Delva. So yeah, we have quite a big variety of decks. 22 players, which was pretty good for the first round. And yeah, for the restreaming I did today, this will be done, I think. Yeah, I hope I can get a regular day where I do this, but I will recast every single FNM. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.